Hey guys, if you like this content, I would greatly appreciate it if you guys like the video and subscribed to my channel. It helps make these videos worth it going forward. Hey guys, Altcoin Sherpa here with a crypto market review. As always, this is not financial advice. I am not an expert to your own research. Today I just want to talk about briefly Bitcoin, but I'll also go into some altcoins, specifically AXS, and like what you are going to look for a top pattern. I'll briefly just go into Bitcoin here. As I've said the last several weeks, I mean, I strongly felt that like 45k to 50k would be the next big move up before new lows, but I'll admit that my thesis is getting tested very, very hard right now. This demand area, prices hung around this area for a really long time, and it keeps nailing this demand zone. And as I've always said before, the more times that price hits a certain area, the weaker and weaker that area gets. Now, there are several stipulations with that in terms of like understanding the overall market environment and understanding the context of the chart. For instance, like price hung around this demand area around 30,000 back in January of 2021. But this was a pretty bullish context given like the insane run that Bitcoin just had, and given this is just like a pretty bullish time of the year in general for Bitcoin. So when you see price nailing that area overall, this is more like just like a bull flag or consolidation, whatever you want to call it, versus like just like a potential area that's going to get nuked through and just the run is over. But this 30k demand zone is different than back in January contextually, because obviously price nuked huge back in May, and now we're arguably, I mean, we are in a bearish bull market, or I'm sorry, a bearish market structure on the 1 day with lower highs and lower lows. Now, this area is getting tapped over and over again all throughout this last few weeks, and it looks like the reactions are getting smaller and smaller, especially if you look at lower time frame charts. I mean, you can see that there's like lower highs every single time, and these lows are getting tapped over and over and over again. Now, for weeks now, I've had the same thesis that 45k to 50,000 like is going to be the next level up, but I'll admit that this is not looking great at all. Like there's like the demand is shoring up, and maybe you could argue that the bulls are just filling all their orders and like this is absorption, but as of right now, I'm not really seeing it, to be frank and honest with you. Like volume is still it's still kind of it's lower than it was before, but we're still seeing like lots and lots of sell volume. So as I said in my previous video, it's easier to contextualize this 28k to 33k area as support or like a demand zone, but these orders are all getting tapped over and over and over again, so it's really a little concerning. I'll admit that my thesis of like 50k is it's being tested hard right now, and like I'm gonna have to consider like just like switching my overall macro thesis on like maybe like new lows are just going to come. Maybe like this is gonna nuke to 20k. I don't know. You know, I still had thoughts that Bitcoin would break all-time highs before the end of this year, but it's as I said, I am very, very cautiously I'm just confused right now overall. So sorry if that doesn't really help you. In terms of trade triggers, I don't really see a whole lot of trade triggers personally. I think that if you're a low time frame scalper, there's obviously going to be lots of opportunity for you. A trade trigger could just be like waiting until this level nukes through and then buying selling the retest. So something like this, like it nukes down to like 20k or something, it'll bearishly retest and then it'll like go lower up to like 25 or whatever. That's a potential trade trigger you could take. You could wait until like this 36k level in which a short opportunity may come. And if 36k gets broken bullishly, then obviously I think the next area would be like the range highs at 41k, but that's like still very far away, especially given the overall environment and given the overall sentiment of the market. Everything's just very bearish. You know, which means that maybe like maybe it's just time to pump again. I don't know. Like maybe this area at these wicks that we saw before. These are the next levels up, like 31.3K. Maybe this is like an interesting area to buy. I really don't. I'm confused right now. But regardless, altcoins will sell off in my opinion if Bitcoin nukes down. Like that's just going to be really ugly. And to be clear, I don't think the altcoin bottom is in. I actually think that the altcoins still have longer to go, but I was expecting some sort of bearish retest opportunity for many of them. But that's kind of aligned with my overall thesis of 45 to 50,000 first before new lows. But if we just see new lows from here, then obviously we're going to see some ugly moves. AXS, this one has obviously gone absolutely fucking insane. Nuked all or blitzed all the way up to nearly $30. It's really incredible to see this coin given the overall context of the market. And many people are saying, okay, like, well, a lot of people are trying to short this thing, which is generally not a good idea. When you see something that's so parabolic like this, it's usually not a good idea to short this type of coin. I mean, it's better to short a coin that's correlated with it. So look at other NFT coins like Mana or Sand or, you know, TBK or any of these other like NFT coins, and those are the coins to really look for, in my opinion, to short if you have to short. But shorting the actual leader of the market right now is not a good idea. It's like stepping in front of a speeding train. These runs can be absolutely crazy and they can just defy all logic. Now, for those who want to short, I would personally wait until this thing starts to like come back down, and then it'll hit like some sort of lower high and then consolidate and then come back down. So I'm going to now open up a chart of Alpha, which had an insane run back in the early parts of the year. And this is my trade that's currently not doing so hot right now. Not good. Anyways, let's look at Alpha here. Okay, so obviously this one had an absolutely insane run back at the earlier parts of the year. I mean, it went, what, from like 16 cents to $3 or so. So really big moves for Alpha. And what are you looking for? So obviously huge parabolic run. Volume wasn't as insane that as what we see in Axie Infinity right now. My suspicion is that when this overall bullish trend is just going, you don't really need strong volume to keep sustaining it. It's similar to the bear market where coins don't really need high sell volume to just continue its trend, especially when it's in price discovery. Like you can just see this slow grind up. But what we saw here was we saw this big run up, and you see lower volume after the consolidation for like one last exhaustion pump. Now, I also want to tell you that identifying these in real time when you're actually exposed to the coin is very difficult to sometimes see in real time, because you are so blinded by the bullish activity that you'll get emotional and it's hard to sell. But these things are obviously a lot easier to see in hindsight, especially like now. Like I remember selling like a bulk of my Alpha. I did not sell the top. I sold like I sold a lot of it at like 170 or something like that. Like I didn't sell at 3 like I should have. But anyways, what I'm trying to say is you see this big move up, consolidation, volume going down, which is normal. One last exhaustion pump here off low volume, and then you start to see a market structure shift on lower time frame charts, meaning like the 1 hour and so. And you'll also notice a lot more sell volume coming in here. So, you know, when you go to like the 1 hour and stuff, you'll start to see like lower highs and lower lows. And this right here was like my indicator, I believe, like this big sell volume candle. This nuke from $2 all the way down to 170. I think this is like when I said, okay, this is like not looking good. When you start to see like super high sell volume coming in, especially on lower time frame charts, that's when you start to see distribution. And because Axie has done so well overall, and given the overall current market conditions, you might not see this long kind of distribution pattern. In other words, like for AXS, it might like just start tanking like really fast, especially if Bitcoin starts going down and makes another leg down. Then I expect AXS Infinity to also go down as well, like pretty strongly. But because of the market context here for Alpha, we saw this kind of distribute over the course of several days or like a week or whatever. So like, you know, in very bullish market condition contexts, you'll start to see coins kind of like do this and then start to come down. For something like AXS Infinity, you might just see it go down a lot quicker because of the overall market environment. Like for instance, Alpha pulled back hugely because for a few reasons, but it had this slower distribution because the overall market environment was pretty bullish. Like there were still a lot of altcoins that were doing pretty well. So for AXS, like you might see something that like is a faster retrace, but again, I'm not going to short it right away. I think it's not a good idea to short something like this right away. I think it's better to wait for like some sort of bearish retest first, and then wait for it to come down. Look for a higher sell volume, especially on lower time frame charts, and then buy like the lower high. I think that's the smarter idea. Like again, when you start to see this insane run, huge volume, it really can be, it can go longer and harder than you think it will. So that's really my advice for you for AXS. Anyways, I hope you guys enjoyed this video, and thank you so much for the support.